everyday people complain. It happens at work, at home, in traffic, and online. They talk about small talk, crowded rooms, noisy places, fake friendships, rules that make no sense, and days that feel empty. It can sound like a chorus of frustration. Complaining becomes a habit, even when it does not help. For many, it is the only way they know to release stress. But there is one group that moves through these same moments very differently: the INFJ. INFJs are not immune to annoyance. They notice unfairness, shallow behavior, and stress just like everyone else. The difference is in their response. Instead of letting irritation lead, they pause. They look beneath the surface. They ask what the moment means and how they can turn it into something useful. Where most people see a wall, the INFJ looks for a door. They do not pretend the problem is not there. They simply handle it without loud reactions. This quiet way of living confuses people. Some assume INFJs are avoiding conflict. Others think they do not care. The truth is more deliberate. INFJs care deeply, and because they care, they save their energy for actions that matter. They do not burn time repeating the same complaint. They study the pattern, set a boundary, or make a calm change. If a space is noisy, they plan an exit or protect their focus. If a conversation is shallow, they gently guide it deeper or let it pass. If a rule feels rigid, they find a respectful way around it or create a better path. Another reason INFJs do not join the constant chorus is meaning. They look for meaning in little things and big things. They see a task as practice for patience. They see small talk as a bridge to trust. They see alone time as a tool, not a failure. By doing this, they reduce the urge to complain because the moment serves a purpose. Even small purpose matters. It calms the mind and gives the heart a place to rest. This is not about being perfect or silent. It is about using attention wisely. INFJs would rather direct their voice toward repair, clarity, or care. They choose action over endless reaction. So while many people get caught in the loop of the same old complaints, the INFJ steps out of the loop, looks around, and asks, "What can I do right now to make this better?" In this video, we will explore 6 things that almost everyone complains about, except the INFJ. You will see how they approach small talk, alone time, loud spaces, surface friendships, social pressure, and the search for meaning. The goal is not to copy the INFJ, but to learn from their calm, steady method. When you understand how they handle what bothers most people, you may find new ways to move through your own day with more peace and less noise. Thing number 1: small talk and surface-level conversation. Small talk is a common target. People say it is boring, awkward, and fake. They feel trapped in the same lines about the weather, the weekend, and the latest show. Many treat it like a chore they must get through to reach the real conversation. The INFJ sees the same scene but chooses a different lens. They do not worship small talk, but they also do not fight it. They treat it as the front porch to a house. You do not live on the porch, but you still need it to enter. When an INFJ joins a surface chat, they are not only hearing words. They are noticing tone, timing, and the spark behind the eyes. They listen for what is not said. A quick laugh can hide worry. A flat answer can hide fatigue. A sharp reply can hide fear. The INFJ uses these cues to care for the person, not to judge them. They may ask a soft follow-up question, offer a gentle reflection, or simply give space. In their hands, small talk becomes a scan for humanity. This approach reduces frustration. The moment stops feeling pointless because it has a purpose, connection. A line about the weather can lead to a memory about home. A comment about traffic can lead to a story about a sick parent or a career shift. The INFJ guides the talk with light touches. They do not force depth because forced depth is still shallow. They make it safe to open up by bringing sincerity to simple words. INFJs also accept that not every exchange needs to turn profound. Some people are tired. Some are shy. Some are not ready. That is fine. The INFJ respects the pace. They would rather keep trust than chase intensity. This patience means they do not leave the chat angry. They leave informed. They learned a detail about a coworker's day. They noticed a friend's mood. They sensed where care might be needed later. When small talk turns truly empty or loud, the INFJ makes a quiet move. They shift the focus to something concrete, like a shared task. They ask a real but gentle question. Or they step back without drama. They do not insult the moment. They simply choose not to feed what has no life in it. There is another layer. INFJs often carry a private sense of mission. They believe every person holds a story worth dignity. With that belief, even brief talk can serve. A sincere, "How are you holding up?" can soften someone's hard day. A small kindness can steady a stranger. The INFJ knows this and lets small talk become a form of care. So while many people complain that small talk is a waste of time, INFJs turn it into a tool. They use it to read the room, to build trust, to offer warmth, or to exit with grace. They do not force depth, but they invite it. They do not fake interest, but they bring real presence. Because of this, surface-level moments do not drain them the same way. The porch does its job. The door can open when it is ready. Thing number 2, being introverted or needing alone. Time. A lot of people talk about being tired of people, yet they also fear being alone. They call alone time boring, lonely, or unproductive. They feel guilty for needing it, or they fill it with noise to avoid silence. INFJs have a very different view. For them, solitude is not a problem to solve. It is a resource to use. It keeps their inner world clear so they can show up well in the outer world. An INFJ often starts the day by checking in with themselves. They ask simple questions. What do I feel? What matters today? What needs soft attention? This check-in can be a quiet walk, a short journal entry, or a mindful pause. These simple rituals reset the mind and calm the body. Because of this, they do not complain about needing space. They plan for it the way others plan for meals. It is normal, not dramatic. During alone time, the INFJ is not hiding from life. They are preparing for it. They process patterns from the week. They untangle mixed feelings. They notice where they gave too much or where they held back. This reflection helps them adjust gently instead of crashing later. It is like doing small repairs before a bridge breaks. The work is quiet, but the effect is strong. They also use solitude for creativity. Many INFJs have ideas about writing, service, art, design, or healing work. In stillness, those ideas grow roots. They map steps, set honest goals, and begin small. Because they produce from peace, their output feels steady. This sense of forward motion prevents the restless boredom that makes others complain. The time alone is building something, even when no one can see it yet. Boundaries play a role too. INFJs do not apologize for needing rest. They give polite, clear limits. They may say, "I cannot make it tonight, but I would love to see you this weekend," or, "I need a quiet lunch today, let's catch up later." The tone is warm, not cold. The message is honest, not harsh. Over time, people learn to trust these limits because the INFJ shows up better when they keep them. When loneliness does appear, the INFJ treats it as a signal, not a flaw. Maybe they need a real conversation, fresh air, or a simple act of service. They reach for quality contact over busy contact. A call with a close friend, volunteering for an hour, or sharing a meal with one person can refill them in ways a big party cannot. By choosing the right kind of connection, they avoid the empty, noisy rush that often leads to more complaints. Technology can make solitude tricky since screens fill silence with constant pulls. INFJs manage this by creating small guardrails. They put the phone in another room for a while. They choose a book over a feed. They let their senses settle. This makes their alone time actually restful. With a clear mind, daily stress feels easier to carry. Because they honor solitude as care, not punishment, INFJs do not resent it. They return to people with patience and presence. They listen well. They speak with care. They keep promises. This steady rhythm of alone time and real connection protects their energy and keeps their mood even. Where others complain about needing space or feeling guilty for wanting it, the INFJ treats space as part of a healthy life. It is not an escape. It is how they remain kind, focused, and true. Thing number 3. The noise and chaos of social environments. Crowded space, constant conversation, background noise, and unpredictable energy are some of the things most people complain about right away. They say it's too loud, too busy, too much. For the INFJ, these environments are certainly draining, but they rarely waste energy complaining about them. Instead, they adapt. They prepare their mind and body before stepping in and create balance afterward. An INFJ doesn't ignore the noise, they study it. They see patterns in how people interact and how energy flows through a room. Where most people feel only irritation, the INFJ feels structure. They can sense which conversations are genuine and which ones are shallow, who is calm and who is restless. This turns chaos into information. It gives the INFJ a sense of control, even in environments that might overwhelm others. When the noise starts to feel heavy, they quietly center themselves. They might focus on a single sound, a voice, a rhythm, or even their own breathing, to block out the rest. They might step outside for a moment or focus on one person in the crowd instead of the whole group. These small adjustments allow them to stay present without burning out. They rarely speak about the stress of loud spaces because they know it's temporary. They have accepted that the world is noisy and that peace isn't about silence. It's about learning to hold stillness inside. So instead of saying, "I can't stand this," they stay calm, observing rather than reacting. Afterward, they recover through quiet moments, alone time, or gentle routines that recharge their energy. This self-control is what keeps them grounded. While others feel trapped in frustration, the INFJ uses observation to maintain focus. They view noise as part of life, not as something that must be fixed. The world's energy may be loud, but their inner energy is steady. The reason they don't complain isn't because they love the chaos. It's because they've accepted it. They understand that complaining adds to the noise instead of reducing it. The moment they shift focus inward, they take back power. It's a quiet mastery that lets them walk through the crowd without losing themselves in it. Thing number 4. Superficial relationships or surface friendships. Many people complain about fake friendships or shallow people. They talk about how hard it is to find real connection and how disappointing it feels when people don't show depth or loyalty. For the INFJ, these things are very real. They notice them faster than most. But instead of complaining, they quietly choose distance. INFJs value authenticity deeply. They want honesty, emotional safety, and purpose in every bond. When a relationship feels empty or one-sided, they don't argue about it or post about it. They simply step back. They understand that not everyone can meet their level of depth, and that doesn't make the other person bad. It just means the connection has a limit. They are selective about who they open up to. At first, this makes them seem reserved, but it protects them from wasting energy on shallow ties. They would rather have a few honest, grounded relationships than a crowd of acquaintances who only share surface-level talk. For the INFJ, real friendship is about quiet loyalty, not quantity, but quality. When someone shows insincerity, The INFJ observes before reacting. They'll notice patterns, small inconsistencies, and emotional distance. They won't expose it publicly or gossip. Instead, they adjust their level of openness. They listen less, share less, and eventually move on without drama. That's their form of self-respect, calm and final. This behavior often surprises people. Someone may think everything is fine until the INFJ stops reaching out. What they don't realize is that the INFJ already gave multiple silent chances. Once the balance is gone, the INFJ doesn't blame, they just release. Because of this inner clarity, INFJs don't waste energy complaining about fake people. They accept that everyone operates at a different level of awareness. They can't control who's genuine, but they can control how they respond. Their response is distance, not drama. This mindset keeps them peaceful. It also helps them attract the kind of people who value honesty and emotional depth. When others complain about betrayal or shallow connections, the INFJ simply lives by a quiet rule. If it's not real, it's not required. And that quiet rule keeps their relationship steady and their heart light. Thing number 5, pressure to conform or fit. In almost everyone at some point complains about feeling pressured to fit in. Whether it's work culture, social groups, family expectations, or trends, people talk about how exhausting it is to constantly adjust themselves to be accepted. The INFJ experiences the same external pressure, but they rarely complain about it. They simply don't allow it to define them. From an early age, most INFJs realize they don't think like everyone else. They see patterns others miss, feel emotions others hide, and carry values that don't always match the crowd. Instead of trying to blend in, they accept that standing apart is part of who they are. That self-acceptance gives them freedom. While others talk about not wanting to conform, the INFJ quietly practices it. They live in alignment with their inner compass, regardless of trends or approval. They don't need validation to confirm their worth. If something feels wrong, they won't do it, even if everyone else is doing it. This calm refusal to follow what doesn't fit is what protects their peace. The INFJ's independence is not loud or rebellious. It's thoughtful. They're polite, respectful, and kind, but firm about their boundaries. They won't argue to prove a point or shame others for conforming. They'll simply take a different path. Their strength lies in knowing what matters and living by it quietly. They also understand that trying to control how others see them is a losing game. The INFJ's focus is not on image, but on authenticity. They'd rather disappoint others than betray their own values. This is why they rarely complain about social pressure. They've already made peace with being different. When they see others struggling with conformity, they often respond with compassion, not judgment. They know how painful it can be to feel out of place. But they also know that true freedom comes from acceptance of self, not approval from others. So they lead by example. Calm, grounded, and authentic, no matter the setting. Because of this mindset, the INFJ remains steady, even in environments where others bend under pressure. Their quiet confidence reminds people that individuality doesn't need permission. It only needs honesty. And that's something the INFJ never compromises. Thing number 6, lack of meaning or purpose in daily life. One of the biggest complaints people share, especially in modern life, is that everything feels meaningless. They talk about waking up, going to work, and doing the same things every day without any deeper purpose. They feel lost, restless, or disconnected, and they wonder what the point of it all is. For many, this question becomes a source of stress and unhappiness. But the INFJ rarely complains about this. It's not because their lives are perfect or always inspiring. It's because they make purpose part of everything they do. An INFJ's sense of meaning doesn't depend on big achievements or outside recognition. It's built into how they live each day. They find purpose in small, quiet actions. A kind word, a thoughtful message, a task done with care. They don't need to change the whole world to feel like life matters. For them, purpose begins with awareness. If something they do helps, heals, or creates peace, that's enough. When routine becomes repetitive, the INFJ reframes it. Instead of thinking, "This is pointless," they ask, "What does this moment show me?" Even a boring task can become meaningful when done with intention. Washing dishes can turn into reflection. Commuting can become time to think or listen. They focus on depth, not drama. By giving attention to details, they transform simple moments into small acts of mindfulness. Their ability to find meaning comes from their natural introspection. They are always searching for patterns, emotional, social, or spiritual. They see lessons in everything, even in failure or pain. When others complain about the emptiness of life, the INFJ looks for what the emptiness can teach. They use it as a mirror to see what's missing or what needs change. This reflection often leads them to personal growth or new paths. Because of this mindset, INFJs rarely stay stuck in boredom. If a job lacks meaning, they find a way to add it, maybe by helping a coworker or improving the process. If a relationship feels distant, they start a real conversation. They don't expect the world to hand them purpose. They create it where they stand. Even when life feels heavy, the INFJ stays connected to something larger, a belief in growth, connection, or service. That connection gives their life shape, even when circumstances don't. It's not that they never feel lost. They simply trust that every chapter, even the dull or painful ones, leads somewhere. That quiet trust replaces the need to complain. For most people, the absence of meaning feels like a void. For the INFJ, it's an invitation, a space to listen, to rebuild, and to remember that meaning doesn't appear by luck. It's built through attention, compassion, and purpose in motion. That's why they rarely say, "Life feels empty." They don't wait for meaning. They live it. The INFJ moves through life differently. Where others complain, they observe. Where others react, they reflect. Their calm approach doesn't mean they're detached or emotionless. It means they choose direction over noise. They understand that complaining may bring short comfort, but understanding brings lasting peace. Throughout this video, we've looked at 6 things everyone seems to complain about, except the INFJ: small talk, solitude, noise, shallow relationships, pressure to fit in, and the search for meaning. These are daily parts of life that frustrate most people, yet the INFJ handles them with quiet strength. They see them not as problems to escape, but as patterns to understand. What sets them apart isn't luck or perfection. It's mindset. They accept what they can't control, protect what they value, and focus on what gives life depth. They live from the inside out, and that's what keeps them steady in a world that never stops changing. If you know an INFJ, you've probably noticed this quiet resilience. And if you are one, maybe you see yourself in these words. You don't need to complain to prove you care. Your stillness, insight, and quiet action speak louder than noise ever could. The INFJ reminds us that peace isn't found by controlling the world. It's found by understanding it. And once you do that, there's nothing left to complain about.